that better?
Okay. Yes.
That's good. I think we're live now, right?
Okay. And we are. It's not showing yet, but we should be live.
It says live.
Okay. No, on here.
Okay. All right. So we are live, ready to go.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. We are with Shelby Frederick, but before we get started, we just want to say welcome everybody. Come on in.
Hello.
All the, I guess, the pre-Facebook live talk about come on in and all that other kind of stuff, right?
Yes.
Okay, you go ahead and do that. So we had this month, you know, as we do every month, we come to you, we talk about several topics.
That's Shelby. Go ahead. Sorry. This time.
We come to you.
That's what we normally do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were prepared today, huh?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
So we come talking from one of our books, and you know, we have our book, and this is gonna be tough. I have to go away. Marriage Done Right is hard work, but it's try this. Marriage Done Right is hard work, but it's worth it. It's a 31-day guide to put the fun, fire, and focus into your marriage, or keep it in your marriage. Then we have Parenting Done Right is hard work, but it's worth it. The 31-day practical guide to win the battle for your kids. And for those of you who do these Facebook Lives, you know I have to do everything opposite. That's why you see me struggling. And of course, to make all this stuff practical and worthwhile, we have our book, Leadership Done Right is Hard Work. I'm laughing at myself. Leadership Done Right is hard work, but it's worth it. And this is about...
You need to look here.
Yeah. Okay. I need to look there and come closer to you, I guess, yes, right?
Yeah.
Let me do it like that. Wow, this is really awkward. And this is about becoming a leader of impact from the inside out. These are the kind of things that's going to make you really successful in everything that you're trying to implement with your wife and your family. But of course, we also have another book.
Did you say who we are at all?
Yeah, I am. I'm going to get to that. Okay. I mean, look. I realized I botched it up. Okay, so then I was going to circle back to it.
Okay.
Okay, so now let me just circle back to it.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Then we have the anthology that we were part of, Speak to the Mountains. Man, I am really struggling with this. Okay, so let me watch that screen, come over this way, put the book right in front of your face. Speak to the Mountains. And this is an anthology that we participated in. And of course, we've been talking to some of the co-authors this month regarding their various topics in this book. And last week we spoke with, 2 weeks ago, we spoke with the publisher of the book, Apostle Ibrahim Womack. Last week we spoke with the primary author of the anthology, Apostle Axel Sippa. And tonight we have with us Shelby Frederick, who contributed a chapter to the anthology as well. So as you know, we come to you every Thursday at 7:00 Eastern time. Mm-hmm. We are Tony and Nicole Davis, your marriage and your family relationship mentors. And as we like to tell people, just to give you a little bit of background of who we are, we tell people how we came about this. So the way we came about this is because of our children. Really, a lot of people were asking us to write books for many years after meeting our children. And of course, we said, well, that's something that we may do in the future. We say, you know what, but we have to make sure that what we're teaching these kids is actually working. So we need to see some success in them, see some success, some independent thinking from them, meaning that they would make wise decisions outside of our guidance. And once they did that, we felt as though we were qualified to write the book. So we knew it was on the agenda. But really, the Speak to the Mountains anthology is what started the writing. And we said, well, you know what, while we're in this writing mode, let's go ahead and put out the parenting book and say, well, shucks, you got to be married first. And, you know, married, let's talk about the marriage and then let's talk about ourselves. So the Speak to the Mountains book was really the one that was the igniter for all of the books. And all of these books can be purchased on our website, empower2engage.com. You can go there and get all the books. If you get them from empower2engage.com, we will certainly sign them for you. And if you get them from amazon.com, you know, you can do the traditional Amazon shopping and they will be shipped to you via Amazon. And for those of you who have already given us feedback regarding the books, we're going to ask that if you could, we would really appreciate if you go to Amazon and provide some feedback there. Some of the same things that you said to us, put it out there on Amazon so that other people can see how the books have impacted your marriage and relationship with children as well. Okay, let's see. And that's what we're doing this month. We're talking to people like Apostle Axel, Apostle Ibrahim, Shelby, and then there's some more forthcoming. So with that being said, babe, why don't you take it from here?
And so what we'd like to do is allow our special guest, Miss Shelby Frederick, to tell us a little bit about yourself, what you're doing, just take us into your life.
Oh my. Well, first of all, I want to thank you all for just inviting me to come into your world and to just share a little bit about myself and a little bit about my chapter that I wrote in the anthology project. I am Shelby Frederick. I am from Columbus, Ohio, actually Reynoldsburg, which is a suburb of Columbus, Ohio. I am a licensed massage therapist. I've been a licensed massage therapist for 11 years now. I do have my own business called Healing Oasis Total Body Therapy, and that is where I do provide massage therapy services. I work closely with medical doctors and also chiropractors to make sure that those that deem massage therapy to be a part of their wellness plan, to make sure that we are all working together as one. I'm also work part-time at Nationwide Children's Hospital here in Columbus, Ohio, and I work in the Family Resource Center where I actually give massages to parents of children who are hospitalized. And so that's a little bit about the life in the world of Shelby Frederick.
Well, Shelby, what I want to do, because I know with the anthology, we all had to write short chapters, and you hit on some things in there that we're definitely going to discuss tonight. But you said in your current job, you deal with massage therapy as part of the wellness plan. Mm-hmm. And of course, because of space restrictions, you probably didn't go too much into that, or even into that at all in the anthology. But talk to us about that. How does massage fit into the wellness plan, and why should we even want to consider that?
Well, it fits into the wellness plan in a number of reasons. Massage therapy, some of the benefits is it helps to reduce the stress. It also, if you have any type of particular issue that you're working with, whether I see a lot of people that have issues with their back or issues with their neck, it also helps to manipulate some of the muscles to be able to return to proper functioning as well. And so it also is a time, as many of my clients will tell you, it's also a time for them to sometimes receive some one-on-one ministry. And so to be able to minister to them, to allow them to talk out any stress or any things or issues that may be going on with them, and to help them walk through that process as well. But there are a number of benefits to massage therapy, and I believe that everybody should get a massage at least once a month.
Oh, at least once a month.
At least.
Okay. And when you say massage, I know they have like different kinds of massages. See, I'm the kind of person where I want to hurt your hands. You can't be rough enough. Yeah. I say it tongue in cheek, but Nicole can attest to the fact that what kind of things have you used to give me massage?
Oh my God.
Hammers,
hangers.
I want to know.
Shoes, anything that I can just make it big into, because my hands, I'm not capable. Yeah. The kind of pressure he needs, I'm not capable.
Yes. So is there
my foot?
Yeah, stepping on my back, I just lay on the floor and let her just step on me, and you laughing, I'm dead serious.
It's the truth.
I'm like, hey, sometimes
I believe it. There are different types of massage. So you have your basic relaxation massage, which the difference is the type of strokes and the amount of pressure that you use is really what kind of differentiates each type of massage that you do. But what Tony is talking about is actually what we call a deep tissue massage. And really deep tissue is focused on one particular area that you may be having an issue with. Now, we can always give you deep pressure, but deep tissue is really a centralized and a focused type of massage therapy session where you have to give enough pressure to reach down to the belly of the muscle in order for that muscle to release.
Now, is that once a month, or can you get too many deep tissue massages in a course of a week or a month?
I wouldn't recommend like no more than maybe twice a week, and that would of course would be like a shorter session if you're just doing like spot work, say like people who are under like chiropractic care. If we're working in conjunction with the chiropractor, then I wouldn't recommend it, because you have to give your muscles time to recover. And so I wouldn't do like a deep tissue massage, more than twice a week. Absolutely no.
Okay. And you said it reduces stress. So how is that measured, or is it measured?
There is actually a way to measure. One of the things that I like to do is to teach people to really be in tune with their bodies, and so you can measure it just by the individual can measure it, but the therapist can also measure it as well by when you're actually massaging the muscles, as the muscles begin to relax, and as the muscles begin to, and like the fascia that around the muscles begin to relax, you really can gauge it. One of the things that I always tell people is, even if you do shorter sessions, or even if you only come once a month, the thing is to be consistent. It will take you longer to work through your issues if you're only coming once a month, or if you're doing, some people will do 30-minute sessions and they'll come bi-weekly. But the thing is to maintain the consistency, because it's the consistency that's going to really help to retrain the muscles. So when you have muscles that are tight and you're feeling the different knots and things like that, you have to actually retrain the muscles. When your muscles are tight, the fascia around the muscles can sometimes stick together, what we call stick together like glue. You have to break all of that up in order for the muscles to be able to lay and, like to relax properly, like they're supposed to.
Okay, so before we get into this Speak to the Mountains anthology and the things that we covered there, so I want to use myself as a hypothetical case study. So let's say if you take someone like me who's thinking all the time and mind is always working, right? And relaxation is almost like a curse word to me. It's like to sit down and relax and do nothing is like, you may have to just use all the profanity and cuss me out, because you're just getting on me, telling me to sit down and relax. So I don't know how to do it. And my wife has been trying to train me for all these years, and I'm a very slow learner. So someone like me who is that kind of person.
Right.
And now, so if I went 12 months without coming to see someone like you, and because we're talking about measurement here, right? And at the end of the year, I would be one way, but what kind of improvement could I see if I was to come see someone like you on a consistent basis, at least once a month, but ideally more than that? What kind of changes could you see in me, whether it's in my production, my mood, I don't know, or anything else, just by getting those massages on a consistent basis, in addition to having my muscles feel unglued?
Right. One of the ways that you can really measure that, of course, we know that it's individual, so it's based on each individual person. But really, I ask a lot of questions. And so I always try to do follow up whenever my clients come, to ask them, okay, how are you feeling? So maybe say like you had an issue with your back and you were coming once a month. How I would begin to gauge that is by asking you the questions each and every time. Okay, so how are you feeling? And then how long did you notice before the pain started coming back? That right there is one of the biggest ways to measure and to gauge, how we are progressing with getting your muscles to relax. And what you will begin to see is over a period of time, even if you're only coming once a month, over a period of time, you'll begin to notice that, you can stretch out your appointments, or you won't feel that pain as soon. So initially you may be having the pain maybe after like 2 weeks, but initially it'll start to stretch out. So it may be where it's 3 weeks. And then it may be, where, I haven't had that anymore. But, now we can really start working in looking at other areas and getting you to relax. So it's really about teaching the individual how to be in tune with their body. how to notice the moments when they are under a lot of stress, and to give them techniques and tips that they can use to actually bring themselves down. So like deep breathing is one thing that you can actually teach your clients to do when they notice that they're having a moment of stress, or if you feel like your shoulders are just hunched up. You have to begin to recognize that. So it's really about being in tune with the body, and really us working together as practitioner and client.
Right. So what I'm hearing you say then is at the very least that instead of continuing to function with the pain, I can actually eradicate it if I chose to.
Absolutely.
Wow, that's positive.
So
right
you're
there.
really explaining the difference between a masseuse and a massage therapist.
Well, the terms masseuse is just the French word for massage therapist. Us over here in America, we prefer to be referred to as massage therapist and not masseuse. It's just a thing in our, in our circles.
But everyone doesn't provide the kind of conversation and feedback and that what you're offering. So what is that person when you go to the mall and you just go get a massage? I mean, how do you distinguish yourself from what they're doing?
I believe that that there is a particular type of therapist for every person. Every therapist is not for everyone. And so sometimes you may have to kind of search around to find the person that's really good for you, where you're a good fit. Those are really like, it's impersonal. That's like the best way that I can really describe it. It's really impersonal because they don't really know you. They don't know your health history.
Right.
They don't know what it is that, you're, you do an intake form, of course, but they really don't know just you as a person and you as an individual. And so it's very impersonal when unless you're going consistently to that person, but there is a certain type of therapist that is for each individual. And sometimes you just have to find who that is and who works best for you.
Okay.
All right. Now we're going
to very informative.
Yeah, we're going to transition now. I mean, that's really great. I mean, I'm sure if you had the space, you probably would have talked about that in the anthology as well. But now, speaking of the anthology, I'm going to hold up again. Hopefully I can, I know the best way to stick it right in front of your face. The anthology. So Shelby, talk to us about your experience with Seven Mountains. How did you come to know about it? What intrigued you about it? And, what was your first, I know it's a loaded question, but I'm just giving you a whole bunch of different things that you can just really combine it as one question. Sure. What was your introduction? How did you respond? How did you initially respond to the concept, and what made you want to write for this anthology? So that's like 12 questions in one.
What really piqued my interest is I have been studying and, searching out information about the Seven Mountains probably since about 2009, 2010. And so when the opportunity came about, it really for me was a no-brainer. And I really saw it as an opportunity just because I know that when it comes to the area of health and wellness, it's an area that we in the body don't necessarily talk a whole lot about, but it's also an issue that we have in society as well. And so I really saw it as an opportunity to really to shed some light on different issues, to shed some light and to bring some understanding and even some clarity about what's really at the base or the core, the root of some of our health problems. And it's things that we don't necessarily think about.
Okay. So with that being said, we start talking about the Seven Mountains, we talk about religion, business, government, education, arts and entertainment, media, religion, right? Those are the big seven, but then we don't hear health.
Right.
So what made you say health is really like one of these subcategories? And I think it is so important that we need to talk about it.
Because it really falls under the education mountain, really. because that is what we do. We educate people about their health and wellness. In addition to being a licensed massage therapist, I also deal with essential oils as well. And so that's a whole nother.
You said essential oils?
Essential
Oil.
Yeah, essential, like you need them, important, right? That's what you mean, right?
No, well, you do need them, but that's what they're called. They're called essential oils.
Okay. Well, educate me because I have no idea what you're talking about. You just want to say I deal with essential oils and keep talking. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. So basically what essential oils, I'm a representative for a company called Young Living Essential Oils. And basically what essential oils is, it's the plant, it's the root, it's the tree. It's the very life source of different plants, shrubs, flowers, different things like that, that's actually distilled down to its purest form into an oil. So I actually have one. I have oils everywhere. So let's see, what is this? This is a blend called RC. So, and they come in like little bottles like this. I don't know if you can see that.
I can see it. Hold it up just a little higher. Your head.
A little higher?
No, now a little lower.
Eye level.
Eye level, yeah, right in front of your face.
Right there?
Okay, that's good.
Okay. And so basically your essential oils are going to come in bottles like this. This is actually a 5 milliliter bottle. They also come in 15 milliliter bottles. And basically what it is like you only need like maybe one drop. And well, there's a wide range of things that you can use essential oils for. You can use them for different to support your body systems. I have to be careful of what I say, but we use essential oils to support our body systems. So anytime there's a deficit in one of your body systems, instead of grabbing a prescription medication, there's possibly an alternative in the form of an essential oil, which is natural, which is pure, that you can use in order to help support your body system.
Okay, so but you said one drop. So do I put it in my water? Do I put it on my arm like the clear and the cream if I'm playing baseball? I mean,
yes, there are 3 different ways that we use essential oils. The first way is that, yes, you can. There are some oils that are digestible, and those will be clearly marked on your bottles. Another way that we use essential oils is we can diffuse them in a diffuser. Not an oil burner where, you have the burners where there's like you put a candle. You never want to burn your essential oils because they will catch on fire. But it's called a diffuser. We can diffuse the essential oils, and then we can also apply them topically. But you always have to read the bottle, because there are some oils which we consider hot oils, and they need a carrier oil that you need to use before you actually use the oil. And the carrier oil will actually stop the absorption rate from the oil absorbing too quickly into your system.
Wow.
So can someone who struggled with chemistry use these essential oils?
Absolutely.
That sounds complicated. Go ahead.
No, it really isn't. And I actually do classes, so I do educate people on the benefits of essential oils, how to use them, and to, really get them on a path as using it as a part of their health and wellness routine.
Mm-hmm. Got it. So with this being said, you said, okay, I know this health issue falls under education, and you probably didn't say it, so I'm going to say it for you. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but you said nobody's really talking about the health aspect of it, right? And then even from a Christian perspective, we say we know we're spirit, soul, and body, but yet we don't talk about the body, right?
Right.
So why was this topic so important to you? I know you looked at it as the opportunity, but why was this particular topic so important? You said, I got to get it in the anthology.
It was important to me just because of my own personal experience, my own personal health challenges that I've had over the years. It was personal to me because I see what we struggle with. We can sing, we can dance, we can preach, we can minister, but we're unhealthy. We're overweight. Sometimes we're underweight. When you look at even just our sick list,
you're sick and shut in.
the sick and the shut in, you know, and so it becomes a point where who is going to sound the alarm? Who is going to be the one that is going to speak up and say, listen, we have a problem and we have an issue here and we're not balanced. We're out of balance. And the body talks about our temple, you know, our body being the temple of the Holy Spirit. That's not just a spiritual thing. It's really our physical body as well. And we are out of balance when we focus so much on one and we don't concentrate on the other.
So let me ask you this. You want to say something? I saw you wrote something there. Okay. Let me ask you this question, because and you're using terms like our body being temple of the Holy Spirit, you know, and that's for us church folks, right? But even for the non-church folks, we all know, we've all heard it, that in order to have good health, you know, I'm going to air quote this, good health, that the key is diet and exercise, right? And yet, from this perspective, even with this knowledge, diet is still and diet and exercise, but I'm going to speak more specifically about diet, but really diet and exercise is still a major issue. Why do you think that that's still such a major challenge for us, even though we have that knowledge?
It's a major challenge for us because, you know, to be honest with you, we could be lazy. And we don't really take advantage of doing the things that we need to do until we have a crisis. So we don't practice preventative care. We are reactive. And so it really doesn't become an issue with us until we have a problem. It's like out of sight, out of mind.
Right. Do you think, and I'm going to bring it specifically to us Christian folks, do you think that we really haven't properly understood what it means that our bodies are the temple of the Holy Spirit?
No.
You don't think that is the case, or you think that is the case?
I think that is the case, that we don't really think about it. It's like a passing thought. Like, yeah, it is. But, you know, like I said, it doesn't become real to us until we have a personal health crisis.
So for those of us who are watching now, and for those who may tune in later, for that passing thought, help us catch it. Help us catch it right now. When we understand that, you know, my body is the temple of the Holy Spirit, and therefore I must treat it fill in the blank way. My body is a temple of the Holy Spirit, therefore I must do X today. My body is a temple of the Holy Spirit. I must do X or Y to be preventative as opposed to reactionary. What would you say about that?
I think that we have to really take a look at really putting a value on what we do. For believers, we talk about doing work for the Lord, but how can we work for Him when we're tired, when we're out of breath, when we're carrying around extra weight, when we are popping all of this medication that causes 10 other different things to go wrong? You know, so again, it has to become, it should not become the place where I have this health crisis and now it's become real to me. We should really put honor and put value on how God created us. And to know that when we give our bodies the right things, that our body has the ability to heal itself.
Right.
Wow.
Right.
We have to take our health into our own hands. We have to become our own health advocates. I see it. So I've seen it several times where people just take what the doctors say, and then, you know, you take this medication and now you have this reaction to it. And it's like, you don't even know what it's like. You just trusting so much what the natural doctor is saying and what they're giving you, and not really doing your homework, not asking for second opinions, not even trying to even see if there is a natural alternative that is out there, so that you're not pumping your body full of stuff.
You know what, Shelby? I'm going to give a personal story regarding that. And Nick, you may remember, it was probably about 5 years ago now, when and I never go to the doctor. I mean, I have to remind. I go. Well, that's not true. I go to the doctors once a year, and I do it during my Christmas break. So I usually save about 2 weeks of vacation time towards the end of the year, and I'll say I'm going to be off from like December 11th until the new year, and then during that time period, I normally go see my doctor.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this particular year, it was right after Thanksgiving. I was struggling with my breathing. And as a matter of fact, I mean, I struggled for like every little breath, and it concerned me. So I went to the doctor. I went to the doctor earlier in the month, because it's like, hey, I'm struggling with my breathing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I figured, okay, I'm struggling with my breathing. Maybe it's a sinus infection or something along those lines. And I'm going to go, he's going to give me some Flonase or something, and it's going to clear it up. Well, I went, I continued to struggle. And as a matter of fact, and then once I started struggling with the breathing, I started getting like panic attacks, because I'm thinking to myself, why can't I breathe? I mean, it's like every breath was a challenge. I'm like, what's going on? So that particular year, I went back like 2 or 3 times. And I'm like, hey, and he would say, okay, well, take this, take that, take this, take that. And I'm like, look, it didn't work. I need an appointment tomorrow. So I'm back in there again. He's like, well, take this, take that. It didn't work. I'm in there tomorrow. Then they said, well, maybe it's something psychological. Maybe you need to see a psychiatrist. And I'm like, well, I don't know of anything psychological. I said, but maybe I will. If this is going to help me out, maybe I will. Maybe I need to go see a psychiatrist. They did a sleep study and all this other kind of stuff, because I couldn't breathe. I couldn't sleep because I couldn't breathe. And after all this, I probably went to the doctor maybe like 4 or 5 times. And then I made an appointment to go see the psychiatrist. I'm thinking, well, maybe it could be something. I don't know. Maybe it's something that's going on with me that I haven't thought about. Let me go see. I don't know. So then, and nothing was working, and I'm still struggling with my breathing. As a matter of fact, Nicole took off with me. We went to the doctor. It was down in DC, and it wasn't working. So then one day, Nicole said, okay, babe, I want you to try this. And she gave me a quart of water and some sea salt. Cleaned me out. They had me taking all this medicine, going to see psychiatrists. And Shelby, I was constipated. My breathing, everything, it cleared everything up. And I'm like, this is some crazy stuff. Here are these highly paid professionals practicing medicine on me, and I was constipated. And I'm telling them, I'm like, I haven't had a bowel movement, but I don't know what's going on. So they say, well, take the Metamucil and some fiber and all this kind of stuff. And the told me, said, enough of this. Here, because that's what she would do. She would take that before you would do your lemonade diet, and it cleaned me out. So that's what, and that's what you're talking about. You're listening to all these doctors, and sometimes you just need a second opinion, even if the second opinion isn't an MD. It's your FE, right?
Right.
Yeah, so that was my little personal story there of just them just trying to give you all kind of medicines that can send you on some kind of crazy rabbit trail, and had nothing to do with what was really ailing you.
But you know what? Just to go back to, and it ties into what you're saying, Tony, and also what you were saying, Shelby, just about how we don't do anything until we're having a problem. Because with proper diet, being in tune to your body, self-awareness is so important. It's something that I scream from the rooftops. I mean, from your emotions to your health to your spirit. I mean, every aspect of us requires attention, like intentional attention.
Yes.
And so what happens when you talked about the laziness that we have, like we just want somebody to fix us. Let us live however we want. Let us do whatever we want. And then when I have a problem, just fix me. As opposed to, let's take a minute to look at how you're living.
Yes.
And what kind of choices are you making about your diet and exercise and even sleep? Because, Tony said that he doesn't rest. Well, there are a lot of people that don't go to bed at a decent time. They struggle getting up. Then you don't eat right. You don't exercise. And we think, just like our spiritual life, we think no matter what we do and how we live, everything is just always going to be fine and always going to work out for us, and that is a trick of the enemy. We
It
are
is.
self-destructive. He doesn't have to do anything. We're doing it all.
Mm-hmm.
So this education is so important, and I just wish people were open to learning and then changing. You know, like if you do these things, then you can have a better life. You can be more productive. You can actualize whatever your goals and dreams and aspirations are. Like we really say it's the devil with all of these things when it's just put the fried chicken down.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Go to bed. Go to bed. Stop watching all that television and go to bed.
Or stop working.
Or stop working and go to bed. Like whatever it is that's keeping you from having a very regimented type life, a very disciplined type life. And it goes back to us really not making, and this is for Christians, I'm speaking more to Christians right now, that we really make God Lord of our lives, and we really use the book, the Bible, to guide our lives, and then we will have the kind of productive, joyful, bountiful lives that he says we can have.
That's right.
It's really a choice, and we're not choosing it. So I just needed to say that because it's really ridiculous, and it has gotten to a point where, you know, the mental health crises now, you know, with depression and all of the things. Yeah, so go ahead, Tony.
No, you on the road. He's going to roll and just stop and say, "Go ahead, Tony," and smack you.
So Shelby, when you think about, because we as a church, we're a poor example. As ambassadors of Christ, we don't represent him to the degree that he would love for us to, starting with just our physical attributes, in that we, as you said, we're overweight, like our physical appearance. And the Bible says men look at the outward appearance. But we want to act like, forget the appearance. I'm anointed.
Look at my heart. Well, God looks at your heart, man, looking at your outward appearance.
Right. But God has made us who we are, to look the way we look, to have the attributes we have, to affect a particular population of people.
Right.
But it's not in our overweight status or our lazy status or our fatigue status. It's built up fully and strongly in him. So for somebody who says, okay, I don't have time to do all of that. Like, I'm busy. I'm doing the work of the Lord. I have a family.
When you say all that, what are you referring to?
All the health things that are required. You know, we don't have the money to eat as healthy. You know, there are so many things that people say. We don't have the time to cook healthy. What are some small steps?
So you're talking about proper diet and exercise for those who may have who may struggle with time, or struggle with having free time management, or limited budget.
Yes, all of this that we're saying that we need to do, because like we said, we know diet and exercise have always been the things that we need to do.
And you only have to be saved to know that. Everybody knows that.
Right. What are some small steps that you would say people need to start taking towards living a more healthy life?
Well, I think
or healthier life. Yeah. Go ahead, Shelby. I'm sorry.
Okay. I think one of the issues is we got some feedback here. It's hard for me to talk with the feedback. I'm sorry.
You have some earphones? We can put earphones on.
Yeah, let me grab them. real quick.
Okay. So please share the broadcast. We are we appreciate you guys being here. I want to add some of your, who called me Dr. Nicole? Dennis. I'm just sharing from my heart, Dennis. Just sharing from my heart.
No, he put that up there when I talked about how you just gave me the water and the salt.
Oh, okay.
All righty. I still hear feedback though. It's okay.
We don't hear it.
Look at your battery.
It might be on my end. Okay, I don't hear it now. So
okay, beautiful.
Some of the things that we can do is, oftentimes we try to do everything all at once, and it becomes overwhelming. You know that you need to get a decent amount of sleep, or that you need to maybe meal prep, or you need to work out. I think one of the important things to do is to start on one particular task and focus on that, and then begin to gradually implement and make changes in other areas. Because if it's overwhelming, people are not going to do it. I know I won't.
So Shelby, if you can prioritize, and for those who may have the we're going to call it the typical list, what would you say is most important? What's the one task you would say do first? If you don't do anything else, do this one thing first. Whether it's from perspective of diet or exercise.
Wow. I would have to say diet. Because
and what would you do with your diet?
You have to really find out what's going to work for you.
Mm-hmm.
And if it's you need to meal prep, then begin to sometimes you have to pull other people in. So if it's an area that you're not confident or competent in, and you need some help and some assistance, there are people out there that will help you meal prep.
Mm-hmm.
There are people that are out there that will help you, that will go grocery shopping with you, to tell you these are the things that you should eat
and should not eat.
And should not eat. That's correct.
So you're saying that's extremely important. We need to learn what we should be eating, mm-hmm. and eat those things, and learn what we should not be eating, and we need to stop consuming those things ASAP. Right?
Absolutely.
Okay, got it. So Shelby, on page 92, for those of you who have the book, Shelby wrote some prophetic declarations on this particular topic, and as a matter of fact, her topic was called Decoding the Health Crisis. But on page 92, she has some declarations. And then your very last declaration, which was declaration number 6, here's what you wrote. You said, I declare a normal circulation of blood around my heart, arteries, and veins that will give sufficient oxygen flow. Right? Mm-hmm. And, we certainly believe in prophetic declarations. We're prophetic people, and we believe in that kind of stuff. Right? But mm-hmm. Let me ask you this question, Shelby. What would you say to the person who does who has a lot of declarations, but they still want to consume the chitlin loaf?
Well, you have to really, it's all about changing your mindset. Mm-hmm. So you're not going to do anything without first changing your mind, without first renewing your mind. And so I don't care how many declarations you make. If it doesn't start up here, then you're not going to act that out. Mm-hmm. And so that's one of the things that I always talk about, that anything that you set out to do is going to require a mindset shift. Anything that you do, anything that you embark on.
So how does one do that? How does one shift their mindset?
Well, you have to begin to look at, so say like I say that I'm going to meal prep. Then I would begin to work with someone. And if you're working with a health coach, they're going to take you through the processes and take you through the things to help you identify what the block is. And let me mention this real quick. So I have a service that I do that's called AFT. It's called Aroma Freedom Technique. And basically what it is, it's the combination of psychotherapy and essential oils. What this technique does, it helps people to overcome and to, first of all, to identify the negative voice, the negative incident, because there is some reason why you're not doing the things that you need to do. Mm-hmm. And usually it's rooted in some type of bad experience that you've had previously, whether it's something in your childhood, something in early adulthood, something in the past. So when people begin to first identify what is stopping them from, say, like meal prep, what is stopping you from taking the action and the steps that you need to do in order to, you need to eat right. You need to eat healthy. you have to begin to take people through that process. So people have to know that that it is mental, that it is emotional.
So let me ask you this question, Shelby, because you use this term several times. You keep saying meal prep, and we've already talked about buying the right foods and not buying the wrong foods. Is there anything else that's involved with meal prep that we should know about?
Well, I think that when it comes to meal prep, that's one of the things that help. It kills two birds with one stone. So you're going to have meals that are already prepared, but it also is going to help you cut down your time. So the reason why people don't cook during the week, maybe they're busy with, work. If they have children, their children are in activities. But if you will spend maybe 4 hours on a Saturday, or on a Sunday or on a different day, spend that bulk time that you have and prepare everything in advance. You're going to have the things that you need for the times when you don't have time to actually cook a meal.
So I will cook on Sunday for this upcoming Thursday.
You can cook for a whole week.
No, okay. So what about the fact that they say sometimes if you don't have leftovers for too long because you may get food poisoning?
Of course you
because you don't cook. You put things in the freezer.
I know I don't cook. Now they know I don't cook, but
your question is giving you.
But I call myself a learned person with reading, and they said after like 3 days you may want to get rid of certain things and all that kind of stuff.
Okay,
right?
Go ahead, Shelby, and answer his question.
Hold on, but she's looking at me like that. But she'll be the main one. I'll go to the refrigerator. I'm looking for something, and she'll be like, "I threw that out."
Meal prep.
Oh, that's what you were focusing on about me cooking on Sunday. I was using that as a hypothetical, not that it's something I would do.
Okay.
Oh,
for the hypothetical person who may do this.
Yeah, I'm still eating on Thursday though.
I think it all depends on like the type of food that you're preparing. So some people meal prep and like you can freeze it.
Okay.
Even with people now, some people don't like leftovers. Well, then you're going to have to find another way around that. Some people don't like leftovers. Me, I know I can only eat food for, usually I'm good for 2 days. Usually by the third day, I'm ready for something different.
Okay.
Especially if I eat it for dinner and I take it for lunch and I come and eat it for dinner again. After so long, it's like, okay, I need something different. But you just have to find what's going to work for you.
Okay, but that's not a health issue or quality of food issue. That's just a preference at that point, right?
Yeah, at that point, that's a preference.
But what I'm hearing you say is that you need to know which foods can keep and which foods can't, and if they can't keep, you definitely need to freeze it to
Absolutely.
make sure you're still getting good food on that Thursday if you're meal prepping,
right?
Whatever the case may be. All right. So, and you mentioned something with your ATF, and you talked about people not understanding what their blocks are, and you also talked about that there's some kind of trauma or something that may be hindering them in it, and that all goes into emotional health, right? And as a matter of fact, that's something that you did address in the anthology. You talked about it where you said that as a matter of fact, you said you even called it one of the most important, but least talked about doors that lead to poor health is emotional wellness.
Absolutely.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
But yet, and I'm going to bring this specifically to the Christians. Most of us, and I don't care what your denomination is, we've heard stuff like, he'll keep us in perfect peace if our mind is stayed on him, right? All of us have said stuff like that, especially in those tough times. So, yeah, with that being said, why do you think that emotional health and addressing emotional wellness is such a challenge for Christians?
Because of what you just said, we really don't have an understanding of what happens to us with emotions that are repressed or suppressed. We don't they go somewhere. And I even quoted it in the book on, I don't know, one of the pages. I know it by heart. On page 89, there's a quote by author Carol Truman that says, "Feelings buried alive never die." So they go somewhere. So they reside like in your cells.
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is if you get a person that becomes so stressed out, or they keep piling on emotion after emotion after emotion, all it's going to take is one thing to trigger some type of illness that you already it's lying dormant in your cellular structure. So if we don't have an understanding that this is what's happening, that's the reason why we can make those statements that he will keep me in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on him. Yes, he will, but we also have to realize, even though that is a spiritual principle, we also have to look at what is going on with us naturally, because it is affecting our bodies naturally, and that's something that we're not aware of.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I'm aware, what would I do? What do I do next? Okay, now that I'm aware that feeling is alive, is suppressed somewhere. Now what?
It depends on what particular thing is triggering it.
Mm-hmm.
So our emotional wellness and things that we don't deal with, they are activated by triggers. So it could be, say, in the area of working out.
Mm-hmm.
Say when you were 5 years old, you were running and you got bit by a dog. Okay. So now you don't like running. So ever since then,
well, I may not like.
You won't run, because now there's this fear that if I go running, I might get bit by a dog. Somebody's dog may be loose, and they may come and bite me. So I'm not going to run. I'm not going to deal with that. But if you need to run, if running is a part of, say, like your doctor told you that running is something that you need to do, then what are you going to do? See, we don't take a look at the reason why we don't do the things that we do. There is a reason why we don't, everything that we don't do, there's a reason why we don't do it. But we haven't been educated to get an understanding of why that is. But every person that I sit down and that I take through one of these sessions, there's always a root.
And it's interesting because you also talk about the fact that we are spirit, soul, and body. And we will quickly run to a spiritual answer for something that can be handled very naturally. Absolutely. If we just address it.
Absolutely.
The problem with that, especially in the Black community, is we don't like to.
You always talking about us. Go ahead.
Well, that's what I know about. We don't want to talk about our stuff. First of all, we don't want anybody to know our stuff.
Right.
Where, just like when Tony said, was asking about the meal prep, we give ourselves away either by what we say or how we look or what our bodies are going through, that something is happening to you. So what can we do to help Black people be more open to the benefits of addressing emotional issues so that their natural bodies can be healed? And it's not that prayer doesn't work, but that you really need to go through the process, do the work, as they say.
Tell me what you do after you pray.
Yeah, after you're done praying, yes.
What's that action step? The answer to your prayers that you're going to have to go do something.
Yes.
Okay. That's what you're talking about. Okay.
So what, Shelby, what can be said to our people to know that it's okay to go ahead and be healed for real? Like, go ahead and get the assistance you need beyond that prayer or the quoting of that scripture.
I believe that we have to continue to educate. We have to continue to have dialogue And why not have it on a Sunday morning? Why does it have to be a special Saturday that we're coming out, where people are they're too busy doing other things? Why not make it a part of what it is that we are equipping people? Because this is a part of equipping people for life. Because without good health, there is no life.
You can't do anything.
you can't do anything without good health. And so we have to become creative and begin to create those environments to open up dialogue. Our people need to see more people like us speaking out against it, speaking out against the things that are wrong, and speaking for the things that are right. To letting them know, building that trust within our community. It's all about that trust factor. And to know that you can let down your guard, that this is somebody that you can trust. This is somebody that you can to really come in and just bear everything to, and know that you are going to, at the end of the day, get the help that you need.
And not make it all so spiritual, that we can handle these other issues in the church. And this is why I love the whole 7 Mountain Mandate, because if people will really grab a hold to it, it can address every area of your life.
Yes.
And the dimensions of your life, beyond a hoop and feeling good on a Sunday. You take that same time period, like you said, I think that is brilliant and should be the case for many topics on a Sunday morning, where you have this captive audience that you can address these other issues that are prevalent and important to the well-being and the productivity and the advancement of those sitting there.
That's right.
So let me tell you, so I was reading this book earlier today, and it's really, and you may be familiar with Dr. Colbert. There's a book called Deadly Emotions.
No.
And it goes along with emotional health and just talking about the impact of stress on the body. So one of the examples that was given was that there was a dermatologist who decided to become a psychiatrist. And the question to him was, well, why would you leave that profession to go into psychiatry? And he said, because what he learned by just talking to many of the patients is that when they came in with psoriasis or eczema, that really all that was is the weeping. It was weeping through the skin.
Yes.
The body was crying.
Yes.
Because of the level of stress. What you have, Shelby, because you know a little bit about this.
Yes.
What?
Yes. No, there is, and it's so fascinating to me. And that's one of the reasons why I shared my story in the book about the issue that I had with anemia. When I went to go get I was attending a certification class, and a part of this class was we talked about emotional release, I believe is what it was called. Yes, emotional release. And so we were in this class, and she had us to identify a particular issue that we were going on in our bodies. So at that particular time, I had been diagnosed with severe anemia. And when I looked at the emotions that was attached to the anemia, I about wanted to just fall out of the chair, because it was precisely dead on what I was dealing with emotionally in my life at that particular time. Wow. And so when I see different things, when I see different people, my mind automatically goes to that. What's going on emotionally? Because I recognize and realize that there's an open door that's there. Some things, yes, are passed down generationally, but then there are other things that is just when we are not aware of that emotions that are lodged inside of our bodies, that they are causing, that they are gateways. I believe that's how I address it. They are gateways to different illnesses. They are gateways to sicknesses. And when our stress level gets so high and we don't deal with it, it triggers it. So it's going to come out one way or another. It's going to come out in something.
And so, and to add to that, one of the things that I learned is that our perception dictates a lot of how our bodies respond, because stress, whether it's good stress or bad stress, the body doesn't know how to delineate between good or bad. The
That's
way
right.
the body responds is the way the body responds. But our perception about whatever that situation is, that's what determines how our body addresses the stress that we're experiencing.
Mhm.
So if this is where scripture really does come in,
Yes.
because if you believe the scriptures, like the scripture you quoted, I will
Mhm.
keep them in perfect peace whose mind is stayed on me. If there's a situation, you know how they say, if you're going to worry, don't pray. And if you're going to pray, don't worry.
Mhm.
It really does work in tandem with you making different choices
Yes.
about the things that have caused the stress.
Yes.
But there is a place for the word of God if we work it in accordance to how God has said. But
Yes.
we still have a part to play.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Even when it comes to healing, and I'm going to try to remember this. There are three different types of healing. One, the first type of healing, I believe, is Iomeo. I know I have my book around here somewhere. Iomeo, which is the healing that we receive at salvation. Okay.
Mhm.
Then there is Therapeuo, which of course is our therapeutic healing. That's healing that takes place over time. That is where we miss it, because we have a responsibility. The healing has already taken place spiritually, but naturally in our bodies, there are things that we have to do. And we're not always doing them. We're not always carrying that through. We're not always walking it through to the place of healing.
Right.
I'm telling you, if you give the body what it needs, it has the ability to heal itself.
And if we really saw the body as the temple, like that, we really need to care for this temple, like respect, honor, and care for this temple, because this is where all of our gifts come from.
Mm-hmm.
So we will massage the gifts, but not the temple from which the gifts come from.
Well,
Which we will honor and reverence the creation, but not the creator. I mean, we're just so backwards.
No, you're fine with the temple and the gifts. But even speaking of taking care of this temple, one of the things we touched on earlier was sleep, and you touched on that in the book as well. You talked about getting enough sleep.
Mhm.
So what's enough?
well, science says, I believe like 8 hours, but who really gets 8 hours of sleep?
Mhm.
I
don't
don't.
know.
I don't.
So does that make it right? I don't know. The fact that we don't, does that make it right?
I think that your body will tell you how much sleep you need.
Mhm.
Okay.
So again, it is based off of the individual. There are some things that can be kind of like blanket, that can be used as a guideline, but at the end of the day, each person has to find out what's going to work for them.
Okay, so what if I said, I get 5 hours of sleep a night and I've been functioning for past 15 years like that. So in my mind, I can say, well, 5 hours is enough for me. But maybe I would be more effective and efficient if I was getting 5.5 or 6 hours or 7. How do you figure that out?
Again, I think that it just works on, it really comes into play with how does your body respond if you're, say, like on vacation? Do you find that you get more sleep when you're on vacation? Do you sleep longer when you're on vacation? Do you
Are you,
sleep
are you
longer?
asking me?
Mm-hmm.
Are you asking me?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't think so. I personally don't think so. It all depends. I'm weird. I'm a very weird case study. I mean, I'm just different. I mean, I go and go and go, and then my body may crash on one day, and then I'll go and go for months, and then my body would just crash one day.
Okay, so let me help.
But Nicole was the regular. Okay.
Tony crashes regularly. He doesn't put himself to bed, and that may be the case for many people. I put myself to bed. Like I am regimented in how I live my life. Tony most times has to be awakened. He doesn't just naturally wake up unless he slept too long. Would that be accurate? Okay, yes. Okay. So what that says to me, and I'm not even a health professional, is that his body needs more rest. Would you say that, therapist?
Absolutely, because you should not go until your body crashes. So that right there is a sign to you that you're not getting enough rest. Ask me how I know, because that's me. That's the area that I struggle in. It's making sure that I get enough rest, because my mind always goes. I'm always working on something. So it's very difficult for me to put myself to rest.
And so what we're saying, and it's happening even now, so something will have to happen for you to realize, okay, just like one of our brothers, he was going so long in Epic, going so long, working, and not giving his body proper rest, that he had symptoms of a stroke. When it was simply he needed to rest.
Yes.
And how crazy is that your body, as someone once taught decades ago, and I never forgot it, that your body actually prophesies to you.
Yes, I like that.
Yes. And we need to get in tune with our bodies and work with this body, Shelby and Tony, because we need them for the long haul. You know, we really want them to function at optimum capacity for us, but we got to respect them.
Yes.
Nicole could just go to, Nicole could be like, you know what? She could be in the middle of a joke and be like, oh, it's 9 o'clock. I'm going to bed.
That is not true.
That is very true.
Not true.
It's like, what's up? It's like, you sleep already?
but you're so right though. Our body does gives us, and again, it comes down to teaching people to be in tune with their bodies, because your body will tell you when you are doing too much. Your body will tell you you need to rest. You need to slow down. You don't need to take another appointment. You need to shut this computer down, you know. And so I have different seasons of that. So when I know that there is something that I'm working to really get out, I will work until I get it done. And so but then now I do get my rest now. I will make sure that I will shut it completely down. Can I get an appointment? I'm not working this day. Nope, I don't have any openings. And I had to get like that.
Yes.
You know, after being in business for 11 years now, I had to get to the point where it was like, it's okay to say no. It really is okay to say no. And you have to know what your limitations are. And again, respect your body.
Yes. That's good counsel. What else you got, baby?
No, that's it, because I'm looking at So Shelby, you mentioned a lot of things that you're involved in. Go down that list again and tell people how they can get in contact with you.
Absolutely. Well, one of the main places that you can contact me is on my website at www.jewelsofwellness.net. And I actually can type that in here.
Okay.
There you can reach me for everything, whether it's ministry, whether it's massage, essential oils. That is the best way to contact me, is through the website. You can send me an email. You can give me a call, but I prefer text because of the type of work that I do. Oftentimes, if I'm busy with clients, I don't get voicemails until like the end of the day, and sometimes maybe not till the next morning. So text messages is easier for me to quickly communicate with people. But that is, I'm on Facebook. The name of my actual business that's out there is Healing Oasis Total Body Therapy. I do have a Facebook page for it. And I'm on Instagram, the Lady Jules.
You want to type that in and I'll put that up as well. Because the other thing, especially with us and the kind of people who we hang around and are in our network, we're all aspiring to accomplish the things that God has given us to do.
Absolutely.
But as you are a health coach and we are family and marriage coaches, what is important for all of us to get as we are healing people and being healed, because that's one of the things you talked about, just we're endeavoring to impact the lives of others, but yet we're not identifying the things that we need to do differently in order to be successful or productive in those endeavors, is we've got to simplify our lives.
Yes.
Like, we really need to learn how to manage our time better, how to say no, and to do what it is that is a God idea as opposed to just a good idea.
Yes.
And those things will not come to us outside of prayer and fasting, like spending that quality time with the Lord, so that we can get more balanced, and that we can be more effective, and that we can have greater impact. We've got to simplify our lives and really cut away the fat, like the extra busyness that's really just adding to our stress levels. That's not really helping us. It's almost like being that mouse on the wheel.
Yes.
We're moving, but we're not really going anywhere. And we've got to be more targeted and more intentional in what we're endeavoring to do. Otherwise, stress and busyness will take us out of here, because you can't eat right when you don't take time to properly either prepare a meal or go somewhere that might not be so close to you. McDonald's is right down the street, but you need to go a little further to get to the Whole Foods or the organic place.
Right.
But I don't have much time.
Just say a fast food. We don't want McDonald's.
No, we don't.
No. Just say a fast food restaurant maybe down the street. That's supposed to identify any particular franchises.
So what we need to do is simplify our lives.
I agree.
And that's what we encourage everybody as you're watching this broadcast. And it's something that we have to continually say to ourselves. I say to myself, start doing assessment, look at what you're doing and what can you cut out? What do you need to cut out? Because everything that we're doing, although it's good, may not be the will of the Lord. And so we really need to honestly assess that and make the necessary changes.
I agree. Knowing what to do in any particular season is just so key. So when and not try to force something. So even when it comes to like me to writing and things like that, if it's not there, if I'm not feeling the creativity, if the flow is not there, then I know that that's not something that I need to be working on right now.
That's
so
right.
That's one of the ways that you can really help. And then no is a complete sentence. It's okay to say no.
That's right. No is anointed.
It is.
Now we talk to you.
No is from the glory.
Lord.
Now we talking to your husband. but we're talking about health tonight, right? But on the topic of health, I mean, it is so important, because one of the things when we talk about the 7 mountains, we think that family mountain is the most important one because we all come from families. But even with that being said, Shelby, I think health is probably the most important topic, because if we don't have our health, we can't get none of this stuff done. Or if we're doing it without good health, we're not as effective and efficient as we could be. So we've got to make health a huge priority so that we can really be all that we, like in the Army, be all that we can be.
Right. Amen.
Yeah.
Amen. So, Shelby, we thank you so much for your time. For those of you who do not have this book, we encourage you, Speak to the Mountains, the anthology. You can get it either through Shelby or you can get it through us. We are both co-authors in this book. It's an awesome book with some amazing information that will really help you and propel you. For those of you who are interested in the 7 Mountain Mandate, you want to learn more about it, you want to understand what the 7 mountains are, we encourage you to get that book either through Shelby or through our website, empoweredtoengage.com. For both of us, you can get autographed copies. Our chapter is chapter 1. Shelby, do you know your chapter?
I don't know, but I know it's on page 88. That was the year I graduated high school. I said, that's anointed right there. Page 88. I won't forget that one.
Yes, it is. And so we're grateful that we can have some of the co-authors on here with us to just talk about, these are the areas that are near and dear to us. And that's why we've chosen health. And next week we will have education. And we're going to learn more about the state of our education. So please, in the school system. Yes. So please, yes, that's important because Shelby is education as well. Join us. Please share this broadcast. And we thank you so much for being with us. Shelby, thank you again. We love you and appreciate you so much.
Thank you, Shelby.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. You know that I am in love with some Team Davis. Yes.
We appreciate it.
Yes, you are a huge supporter and we really love that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
All right. Good night.
Alrighty. Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Tony.
How do you
What'd you do?
Oh, go up, scroll up. Bam.
There it is.
Right there. All right, good night.
Good night.
You have to click this too.
Yes.